Hello, my name is Toma, and today I'm gonna finish building my tank house. In particular, I'm gonna work on the pressure side. Just a quick update. Previous videos, you can check them out if you want to see it. So this is my tank house. This is a 1500-gallon tank. Temporarily, I hooked up the outlet side to my cabin. So I have water based on gravity, which is not a whole lot of pressure. So I bought the pump. It already came with a pressure switch. It's a 30-50 pressure switch. That means it's gonna turn off at 50 psi and it's gonna turn on at 30. This is the pressure tank that I bought, 85-gallon. The pump is a half horsepower pump. I didn't need anything more beefy because I have a solar system. I'm not going to use a whole lot of water. So I have a T. I placed everything at a rough location where I'm gonna plumb everything, and basically I'm gonna install all this today. So the first step, based on the pressure switch that I have on the pump, 30-50 again, I have to set the pressure inside the tank itself. So every single tank comes with a valve. So mine came pre-charged at 40 psi. The rule is you have to have pressure when the tank is empty. Inside the pressure, you have to have 2 psi below the on setting of the pressure switch, which is 30 for me. So take 2 away, so that becomes 28. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's pretty easy. I have one of these Delios, pressure gauges. So there's a little knob here. You can and you quickly press it in to measure the pressure, and it's gonna tell you I have 32 still, so I have a little bit more to go. psi. This is the rough plan. This is the outlet of the tank. I'm upgrading the outlet. This used to be 3/4 inch. So I took this section out and I'm upgrading the nipple to 1 inch. The hose is 1 inch. I'm using 1 inch schedule 80 for everything. So this is just roughly put together. And I have schedule 80 1 inch to 1 1/4 inch adapter. This is the inlet of the pump. The outlet is 1 inch. That's pretty much standard. Schedule 80 all the way, elbow. This is the check valve. Once the tank is pressurized and the pump turns off, the water is not gonna, this is gonna prevent it to flow back. Pretty amazing. They make schedule 80 plastic check valves now. So this is the outlet of the pump, goes into the T. I'll have a pressure gauge just to make sure. And I have an overpressure valve. Most people forget this. This is very important. If your pump screws up, the pressure switch screws up, it doesn't turn off, this is going to trip at 75 psi and let all the excess water out. This is very important. And then I'm gonna have a hose bib just in case I ever have to drain the system or whatever. And this is the outlet side that goes into the pressure tank. So the outlet is gonna be all PEX. It's gonna go all the way there. So that goes to the cabin, all the way there. And that's pretty much it. I don't have to touch the inlet side because that's already done very nicely. I collected, this is Texas, so I collected in about 3 weeks 400-gallon water from my cabin. Again, my cabin is 400 square feet, so it's not bad. I think this is going to be sustainable. This is all just a big experiment. We will see, but I think it's gonna work. I always remove the label from the threads. This is the check valve. There's always an arrow for the flow. It's actually labeled flow, so you have to be careful with that. So what I normally do when I have to assemble something like this, I don't like to put a lot of stress on a pump or a tank or whatever, so I assemble this piece first and then I will screw it in, minimizing the stress on the pump. I found that very useful. And as you can see, I don't tighten these individually, I just assemble the whole line and I just screw it together all at once. So this is the pressure side, right? Everything behind this is pressurized. So, or behind this is pressurized. So I kind of use a little bit more force. And I want to make sure that the label or the flow mark is visible. I'm gonna leave it like this for now because the angle is gonna be adjusted later. So yeah, the pump is basically already pumped. Next is gonna be the tank itself. I don't have a vise here, so I'm just gonna hold it. I only take one piece off at a time. I don't disassemble the whole thing, just to make sure I get all the angles and everything right. The 85-gallon tank takes 1¼ inch. This T is 1 inch. So I need this adapter, schedule 80. And now I'm just gonna have to tighten all this. When I tighten these, if I can, I don't use these channel locks because these have teeth and they make sharp edges on brass. So I like to use wrenches. So now I just have to screw this into the pressure tank. And go from there. Put the tank on the side, and now I'm gonna screw in the T. Don't over tighten it. You can see that it actually blows my mind. So this is the high strength plastic. The bottom of the tank, it's not metal. Kind of crazy. So don't crack the adapter, the Schedule 80 adapter. Don't crack the bottom of the tank. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, in the tank house I have road base because I want good drainage. If something disastrous happens, it's not gonna, the water is not just gonna sit on the concrete. So because of road base, I wanted a solid platform, so I bought a 24-inch by 24-inch concrete panel, and I leveled it, sand is underneath, and the pump is going to be sitting on these treated lumber. You can see that I cut it at an angle, so when I backfill this, it's gonna be in the ground solid. I'm afraid that, you know, once the pump kicks in, it would move. So I'm gonna screw the pump to these lumber. I'm gonna backfill all this, make it perfectly level, straight, and everything. And this is gonna be the platform. So pump goes here, the tank goes here. I'm not gonna secure the tank to this because it's not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna shake or anything. But I think the pump will. This is what it looks like right now. So I did all the pegs all the way around that I need. I let that end loose because yeah, we will see how this is going to be. And the pump is sitting on that pressure treated lumber. I'm gonna connect there. I'm gonna connect that over there. Space is kind of tight. I don't really know if I can show you. I'll try. Turns out that my 1 kilowatt inverter is not enough to power that pump. It turned off immediately, and you can see that the pressure is going. So when I turned the pump off, it pump on, it immediately started at 30 psi because we the pressure in the empty tank is 28. So I'm gonna leave this on, make sure it turns off at 50, and after that I'm gonna turn off the pump completely and wait a week to make sure that the pressure doesn't drop, meaning there is no leak. So that's the plan. This pump is actually pretty smooth. It doesn't shake much. That's a good sign. You can see the electrical connection. It's temporary right now. So that was weird. We have a little problem. This is the pump. This is the check valve. Pump keeps pushing water into the tank until it reaches the preset pressure, in my case 50 psi. What happens then? Pump turns off, check valve closes, pressure drops in the pump. I want this, so I want to save the pump. I'm running an experiment. There's two ways to do that. You can move the check valve here so the pump stays under pressure all the time. However, this is an off-grid system. I'm not going to use it very much, so I don't want to keep it under pressure all the time. So that's why I moved the check valve here. But the problem is now that the pressure switch reads the pressure from the pump, so it oscillates. As soon it reaches the preset pressure, it turns off, pressure drops, turns back on, turns back off, and so forth. So remember the last time I installed that plug. So I'm going to pull the plug out and I'm going to install a pressure switch with a 4-inch little 1/4-inch pipe, and I'm going to install it that way. So that's going to be the trick to get this working. And then I'll wire all the wiring from that pressure switch into this, and that's how we're gonna do it. I barely score the wire because I don't want to cut all the way, you see, and then I slowly start breaking up the insulation, the plastic. A lot of people accidentally cut into the inner wire, which is not good. I don't like to crimp. I like to solder things. I've seen so many times when things didn't get crimped properly and things slide out, and you're gonna end up with a bad connection. We have to bypass the pressure switch on the pump. So this is how we bypass the switch. These two terminals are the leads to the pump, and then ground goes here. So this is the incoming line from the other pressure switch. So they're directly connected. Incoming line, it doesn't really matter, I just want consistency. The incoming line is going on the outside, two terminals, and then the pump goes to the inside terminals. I'm gonna leave the switches exposed while I do a test run, so I can see any kind of normal behavior. That's 50 psi right there. Well, I hope you enjoyed this project, and let me know if you have any questions, comments. Please subscribe, I would appreciate that. I'm gonna have a whole lot of other fun projects. Hopefully you will enjoy it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.